This is the monastery of Monte Cassino, founded in the 6th century by Saint Benedict on a site which has previously been a temple to Apollo, the god. And first thing Benedict did when he came up here was he smashed up the shrine to Apollo and then built his own monastery on this spot. He wouldn't have got away with that today, but in those days he could get away with it. The Benedictine order is, I think, fair to say, the founder of Western monasticism, and all monasteries have been based on this order ever since. The monastery has had a bit of a checkered history. It was sacked 3 or 4 times, the last time being in 1799 by French troops. And after the dissolution of the monasteries in Italy in 1866, it became a national monument. It was most famous, however, for the bombing of it, which took place initially in February 1944, and several of the raids were made later. It was destroyed because it was part of the Gustav Line defences. In January 1944, the Allies reached the Gustav Line along the Garigliano and Rapido rivers, which are, as the crow flies, a couple of kilometres to the south of here. The monastery itself, where I am now, from looking in this direction, which is, I'm now looking towards the west, overlooks the Liri Valley, which is quite a wide, flat valley, and there's this road number 6 which goes to Rome, still called 6, just on the same spot now as it was 70 years ago. From here, turning round, we have a spot up there which is Hill 593, Snake's Head Ridge, and it's not the monastery but this hill which controls the valley and the position, in my opinion, and probably the opinion of people who were around in 1944 making military decisions. Not the people, however, who decided to destroy this monastery. 1.5 million kilos approximately of high explosive landed on it. It destroyed the monastery, but it didn't do the slightest bit of good from a military point of view. On the contrary, it made it much easier to defend. It had very deep vaults and things like that, which could continue to be used for ammunition and for shelter. On the other hand, the bombing of the outer structure was ideal for hiding in, as the Soviets found at Stalingrad, where similar structures in construction, built in the 1920s, made ideal places for defense when the Nazis destroyed them in 25th, 26th of August 1942. And the same thing happened here in February of 1944. Kesselring had had much time to prepare this area for defence. From September 43 onwards, it was preparing the area for defence with the full agreement of Hitler. The organisation built defensive works across the waste of Italy, about 161 kilometres. By the time the Americans got here, they'd already taken a great deal of casualties crossing the Bernard Line, and which is just the south, only around 11-12 kilometres to the south of here, and taking 16,000 casualties to reach here. Nonetheless, the first Battle of Cassino, which incidentally could have been successful, had more resources been put into the British attack, which was closer to the coast, but nonetheless they did get as far as this hamlet which is down there, San Onofrio, which was captured, and some advanced patrols made it just below the monastery walls, all in vain, as it turned out. I mentioned before that the ridge, which is up here, is the key to the position, and that wasn't actually taken until the 17th of May 1944 by the Polish army. Although even in the couple of days before that, the Germans managed to recapture it 3 times. Indeed, fighting was so fierce that the Poles took 3,800 casualties. And once that ridge up there, Hill 593, was captured, it was difficult to find enough troops to come down here and occupy the monastery, the Germans having pulled out the previous day. Question, was it worth bombing? Answer, it wasn't. It was pointless, as it turned out. The bombing wasn't coordinated with the land troops. What you have to do it in such a way as to that they both things. If you've got combined arms, they've got to work together. They didn't. It was 2 days after the bombing, almost, before the British attacked, and it was a total failure. The Sussex regiment, which was part of the Indian Army, took 50% casualties on Snake's Head Ridge up there, which incidentally was not even touched. 10% only of the bombs aimed at Monte Cassino monastery fell within 1 kilometre of it, which is pretty shocking. Not a single German was actually killed in the monastery or in any of the defences around it. However, I have no doubt that some were killed by accident in other places, as incidentally almost was Allied Commander General Mark Clark, who 27 kilometres from here, he didn't want to watch the bombing of it. He thought the bombing was a mistake. He went to General Alexander. He said, should we bomb it or not? And Alexander said, yes, we should. So he thought it was all wrong. He just stayed behind the headquarters, and the closest he came to getting killed in World War II was 27 kilometres from here, while sitting at his desk or tent or whatever it was, writing things up. So that was the closest he actually came to being killed during the war. Anyway, as we can see, this is a car park, and I've stopped here in my camper van. It's extremely nice. The countryside around here is wonderful, although the town of Cassino is, in my opinion, a bit of a dump.